Hey everybody, Dr. Ed here, and we are back with some more Magic Arena. As usual, we're going to be looking at a pre-built. In this case, we're going to be dealing with Orzhov's Eternal Thirst, and then the 2.0 version. So let's take a look at what we have to begin with, alright? So in this case, we're going to be dealing with a lot of lifelink in order to try to trigger our Ajani's Primate. Every time you gain life, you're going to be putting a 1/1 counter on this. In this case, we have a slew of enablers. We have Ajani's Welcome. It's 1 white mana. Every time a creature enters the battlefield, you gain a life, which will trigger this. Moment of Triumph. Combat Trick, gain 2 life, will trigger that. Same thing, trigger this. Another bit of a removal suite. Bishop Soldier, it's a 2/2 lifelinker for 2. Will trigger Ajani's Primate, who knew? Paladin of Atonement with this guy here. If we happen to lose life, which you know we probably will, at the end of turn, we put a 1/1 counter on him, and then if he is to die, we gain life based on his toughness, which will also trigger our Primate. Who knew? So, a sub-theme we have going on here is vampires. So we have a couple of the Vampire Lord, Legion Lieutenant. It's 2/2 for 2, with a +1/+1 effect on all other vampires. Inspiring Cleric, another vampire card, 3/2 for 3, with a life gain. Splendid Angel, definitely a little bit off theme here, but in this case, if we are able to trigger its text here, where if we gain 5 or more life, we create another angel. Fantastic. And if we have a bunch of mana later and we're flooding, we can spend 6, pump it, give it lifelink, and trigger its passive that way. Skymarch Bloodletter, 2/2 for 3 with flying. Opponent loses a life, we gain a life. We have a lot of triggers in that regard. Murder, destroy target creature, we know that card quite well. Leonin War Leader, it's a 4/4 for 4, and it creates 2 1/1 white cat creatures with lifelink. Good, you're going to be hearing this word a lot. Sanctum Seeker, it's a vampire payoff. Whenever a vampire we control attacks, each opponent loses life, we gain a life. Vraska's Contempt, this is going to be probably one of the best cards that we have access to. It's played in a lot of actual top standard decks. Exile target creature, planeswalker, you gain 2 life. Cult of the Feast, it's a 4-mana sorcery, gets us a bunch of little vamps on the ground. Herald of Faith, Angel, gains us some life. Epicure, life gain. Life loss, we don't gain any life on this card, but it could potentially refill our hand. Life gain, and then you know the spiel with our lands. We have the 1 fancy check land, 4 Forsaken Sanctuaries, 10 swamps, 10 plains. And we're just going to add styles for the Vraska's Contempt that I allegedly have. Okay, and now that the quick deck tech is done and over with, we are just going to queue up and see what happens. Okay, so it's looking like our first game is going to be up against a Wuss. So let's see what we have to start with. Okay, we got a bit of a slow hand going on. We have all the mana we could ever need. We have an Ajani's Welcome. We're on the play. I'm going to be greedy and hope we just draw what we want to. So ideally, we'll be able to play Ajani's Welcome this turn. If we're lucky, we just top deck into an Ajani's Primate. There's, what, 3 of them in our deck, I believe? So there's a chance. So it looks like our friend here is also on Orzhov colors. So we are just going to get our Bishop Soldier out. A 2/2 with lifelink, plus the 1 life we gain right now. One thing with this Hunted Witness, it's a 1/1 for 1, but it essentially has the stat line of a 2/2, because when it dies it creates another 1/1 token. So all that they'll be doing if we do go into combat here is they'll just double block. In this case, they're going to come out ahead in that regard, largely because they would be able to replace themselves with 1/1 tokens with lifelink. So we are just going to slam down this Leonin War Leader, see if we can get away with it. And let's see, do we attack? No, I think we still hold back. Let's see if he has an answer. He definitely could have removal for a War Leader at this point in time. Fireblade Artist, okay. A 2/2 with haste. In this case, he has the option on his upkeep just to sack a creature. It's pretty cool in all honesty. I like that card quite a bit. And we're going to swing in with both. We have Murder that can do us a favor in the combat trick side of things. And our little kitty tokens as well also give us the option, or not the option, they also trigger Ajani's Welcome. So what we are going to do, order doesn't matter, we're just going to straight up murder the Fireblade Artist. In this case, he doesn't get to kill our Leonin War Leader. We get everything else hitting, and all he's getting out of this trade is the 2 tokens from Hunted Witness. So as far as board presence is concerned, we're doing pretty well. He's getting Sorin out. In this case, it's a 4 loyalty walker. All his creatures are going to have lifelink on his turn. He can +2 to ping up ourselves or a planeswalker, or his -X lets him fetch a card back from his yard. So let's see what we can do. We do have a trick in mind here. We do have Nightmare's Thirst, which will stop them from trading. So we're going to do the same thing, because this is a -1 counter. If he has nothing in the bank for this, we are more than okay. Let's see how he decides to block. Everything else is just going to be hitting him in the face, and ideally Bishop Soldier will just get the kill on Sorin here. And we will get the 2 little kitties swinging in at their face as well. Heal up a little bit. Ooh, he's trying to do this again, and we are going to do him dirty. As such. So we're going to get rid of both his tokens, swing in, he's hitting us with the GGs. There we go, that went very well. I'm really happy with our draws, and it's like I said, just draw what you want, draw what you need. Alright, so it's just going to be a quick one video of the first part. We're going to be looking at the upgraded version of Eternal Thirst, and I've basically turned this into just a Vampire Tribal. So we have a lot more aggressive 1-drops. So we have Sky Marcher as Spirit, 2-1 with Ascend, if you do end up ascending as Flyer, but essentially it's a 2-1 beater early. Vicious Conquistador, it has a different stat line. It's 1-2, and each time it attacks, the opponents lose a life. Legion's Landing, it's a 1-1 lifelinker for 1, and if we ever attack with 3 creatures, it flips, giving us an extra land, as well as the fancy part of the land where we can spend 3 and tap it to generate another token. Fantastic against control matchups if you can actually get it flipped. In our 2-drops, we're dealing with the Adanto Vanguard. Essentially, you can treat this as a 3-1 on attack. You can pay 4 life to give it indestructible till the end of your turn. Legion Lieutenant. All other vampires get +1/+1. We've added another one of this just because we're going full tribal here. Pitiless Pontiff. Just another decent vampire with a sack outlet. So if we ever need to make a trade, or we're not going to be able to swing in with some tokens, we can burn one, give her Death Touch, basically trade with any of their bigger creatures. In our 3-drops, not too many. We're running a few Queen's Commissions, just generating a couple tokens. Radiant Destiny. We are able to name vampires. It'll give us +1/+1 to all of our vampires, and if we ever ascend, we're going to have Vigilance as well. Now, this is going to be another bit of our... this will synergize a little bit with Pitiless Pontiff in regards to whenever another creature dies, not necessarily ours, just in general, you add another 1/1 counter to her, and when she does end up dying, you create that many 1/1 vampire tokens equal to her power. I don't really know how I feel about this card. To me, it feels like a win more card, largely because if you play this when you're behind and you have an empty board, your little 1/1 Elenda won't do anything. So I'm hemming and hawing. I think the card's cool when it works, but it just feels a lot more win more. Conclave Tribunal. At a glance, it looks like it's 4 mana removal, but since it has Convoke, and we're going to be flooding the board, if there's ever a threat we need to get rid of, quite frequently we'll have the mana to cast this at any point in time. Call to the Feast. Ran it in the base one, just more vampires. We're running a 1 of Sorin the Bloodlord. We actually saw our opponent play it. Gives us all lifelink, and we also have some graveyard interaction where we can fetch a creature back from the graveyard just by using his -X ability. Our land suite's been a bit improved. We're running our basics. We're running 4 Godless Shrines, 4 Isolated Chapels, and 4 Unclaimed Territory, which we're going to be using to name Vampire. And yeah, that's it. So we're just going to hop into a game or two with this one. Okay, so it looks like we are up against Zachary H211. Let's see how this goes, Zach. So I'm generally not too keen on this many unclaimed territories to start, but we're basically able to play anything in our hand, and using this we're going to be able to hit our Vicious Conquistador. So yeah, let's just start with this for now. We're doing this, naming Vampire just to whip him out. Essentially you can think of him in a way as a 2/2 for 1 as far as doing damage to the face, but he's not going to be able to trade as aggressively. Just because he's only going to be able to do 1 damage to a creature if he's blocked. Now the question is, do we just go for the Adanto Vanguard on this turn, or the Legion Lieutenant? In this case, I think we're going to be a bit greedy. We're going to go for the Vanguard and then play Legion Lieutenant next turn. So in this case, his ability is going to trigger here, deals 1 damage to him. if I want to be technical, they lose a life. There's some cards that will prevent a player from taking damage. Taking damage is technically different from life loss. He is targeting our Conquistador here. I think he's deciding if he wants to remove it. We are more than okay with him using a shock on that instead of our Legion Lieutenant. So let's see how this goes. We are going to be playing a Lieutenant here. They are tapped out, so there's nothing they can do. Our Danto Vanguard is going to be swinging in for 4. And let's see what interaction they have. They could very well have another shock, a bolt of some sort to get rid of the Legion Lieutenant. I'd rather they didn't. They have a 10th District Legionnaire, so it looks like they're potentially going to be playing a feather deck. The shtick with that one being you play a lot of instants, buffing your creatures. If they have feather, I think it's a 3/4 angel with flying. Any spell that targets a creature you control, it recurs at the end step. So it doesn't go into the... Oh, that's a bummer. They're getting rid of our Legion Lieutenant. But yeah, like with this one, in this case, this is going to deal 4 damage to my Legion Lieutenant, 2 to their district, but because of the heroic effect on this one, it's not going to die, sadly. So this card is kind of a rather large threat to us. And it will be able to get very big very fast. So we are just going to jackhammer out another Legion Lieutenant. We're going to whip out our Sky Marcher Aspirant. They're probably not going to be running too much for board wipes, I believe. So let's see how this goes for us. Next turn, depending on what we draw, I think we're probably going to play Pitiless Pontiff just to hold back a blocker. Because if needed, we can sack a creature just to force a trade with whatever they're swinging with on the ground. And as far as ascending is concerned with the Spirit, we're only at 6 of the 10 needed, so I don't see us pulling an Ascension out of our ass this turn. In this case, we're going to be Defiant Striking with her. Gets a +1/+1 from the 10th District Legionnaire's effect on the card itself, plus the +1/+0 from Defiant Strike. We now have to decide if it is worth it for us just to chump block. I don't think we need to this turn. But I think next turn, we are definitely going to be playing the Pontiff just to hold that back. Because this is going to be a pretty beefy swing here. And it looks like they are shocking our Lieutenant there. That's a bit of a bummer. You have another one going? Okay, one for Aspirant too. That's a little bit frustrating. But we did draw into our unclaimed territories here, so let's see what we can do. We have 4 open mana. I think we are... I wish we had one more, because then we can get away with playing both of these. And we'd have the Pitiless Pontiff ability to actually use their sack effect there. So let's see what we can do right now. We're going to swing in the air for 3. There, they're down to 7. I think we just play both of these out and see what they can do. Because potentially we will have lethal this coming turn if we don't have to chump. Because this will get us 8 to their face. Ooh, they have another one coming out. That's a little problematic. Okay, looks like they are holding back blockers. We are not going to block. Now let's see how much damage we're going to be able to get through on this turn with them holding back their singular one. Okay, so we did hit our Legion Lieutenant, which is fantastic. So in this case, I think unless they have removal of some shape or form, I think we have lethal here. If not, we're missing it by 1. But let's just go for it, swing for the heavens, see how it goes. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think we have it. Unless they have a trick here. Ah, perfect. We got them, boys. Fantastic. We managed to hold up just long enough just to squeeze in Xaxes there. That's exactly what I want to see. Awesome. Right out. Right to the next game we go. And get our daily done. Nice. Okay, so for this game we're up against Taru. So let's see how this goes for us. We have all the colors we need. We Sadly can't do a Vicious Conquistador on turn 1. But I think that's fine with us curving into Queen's Commission and all these other cards. I think we're fine to keep this. Let's see, opponent here's deciding if they need to mulligan or not. Perfect, we're just going to plains and pass. Playing something else, so let's see what we have to deal with here. We're going to whip out our Adanto Vanguard here. They are playing Demir at the very least, so potentially Esper. So what we do have to be... Oh no, we're not playing Esper, are we? In this case, it's -2/-2. That ignores Indestructible, so that card's just going to die. There's no reason for us to do anything to try to keep it up. But what we do have is another Vanguard into a Conquistador. But we are potentially playing into a Sweeper in Cry of the Carnarium. It's a -2/-2. Gets around our Vanguard's Indestructible and will also kill our Conquistador. So let's see if they happen to have it. They shock this in, and there's the Cry of the Carnarium. Okay. So we're definitely going to be playing from behind a bit here. What we can do is at least fill up the board once more. It's a lot less imposing, but we have 3 1/1 lifelinkers out. Shimmer of Possibility lets them look at the top 4 cards and find one that they need. And they're going to Thought Erasure our Queen's Commission, which is a bummer, because now we are essentially out of gas. We're in full top deck mode. So we are going to swing in. This isn't the gassiest of cards. I would, at this point in time, really want to draw into a Sorin, because he would allow us to fetch back our... Not what I wanted to see. Our Adanto Vanguard, which for the most part is pretty resilient to a lot of sweepers, a lot of just general destroy target creature removal. He's used 2 cries. Ooh, and now he's going to be hostage taking us. This allows him basically to exile our creature, and as long as he has hostage taker out, he'll be able to cast it. Sadly, he has the mana to do it right now. It's not looking too good for us. Let's see, what's the biggest threat here? Sadly, I think we will just get rid of the hostage taker in this scenario. More so because it has 3 toughness. I know the Vanguard will be hitting us harder, but we can block the Vanguard with anything in our, and we are done. Now I'm half wishing we held that, huh? Would have been able to deal with the Ujin. Well, let's see how this goes. I'm getting Aspirin out. This game is basically over. You know what? I think we're just going to let our opponent win. We're just going to call this one a game. Okay, so as per usual, when you're going with a go-wide strategy, eating multiple sweepers, not very fun. But yeah, on to the new one, huh? Okay, so breaking the 1-1 streak, we are up against Alexion, so let's see how our record's going to go with this deck before we call it. We have options. We have Elenda finally showing up. We have our Aspirant, our Conquistador. I think I'm just going to whip out the Aspirant to begin with. I mean, currently, you know what? The Conquistador sounds a little bit better in my mind, because chances are, turn 1, whatever they're playing is only going to have 1 toughness, so it's not like we're going to have anything it can't trade with as it stands. We're just going to swing in. We're going to lose the life. Do they want to block? I can't see them doing, so we're going to get our Vanguard out now. Next turn, we'll also be able to go from, with our next planes, Aspirant, Pontiff. We draw another land. We can also hit Elenda out the following turn. Ooh, but this is a bit of an interesting turn, because what we can do, because they're playing a Guild Gate, they're definitely going a little bit, maybe too slow for us. Hit them with the Legion's Landing, get the Aspirant out. Now we have a very scary board for them, because right now on turn 3, we are going to be hitting them for 6. 6 from here, plus the 1, so we did 7 damage that turn. That's definitely respectable, and they need to have some interaction basically now. So they have Kiora. Kiora is an interesting one because it's ramp in its own way. You can untap permanent, so in this case they can untap that guild gate. What they can do with the 2 mana they have available to them, I'm not quite sure, but I'm greedily enough just gonna whip out this Elenda here. Just because you can see this nice, beautiful animation. Very pretty. And then, of course, we're going to be doing what we always do and swing for face. Kiora's loyalty is pretty nuts, so we are going to be ignoring Kiora for the time being. Not going to be swinging in with Legion Lieutenant because I find it very important that we keep our creatures alive here. And I don't want any weird tricks to have this one die. In this case, it looks like they just had a Growth Spiral. And it's only 1 damage, so no need for us even to trigger the ability on Adanto. Elenda grows up to be a 3/3, with our Legion Lieutenant giving her additional 1/1. So what does opponent have here? A big Bioessence Hydra. In this case, it gains counters equal to the counters on other Planeswalkers, and I think anything on the board. So they definitely got a 10/10 Beef Boy out, but not enough to deal with our very wide board. So, okay, those games were really quick, but I'm okay with that because I'm tired. But yeah, for now, I'm Dr. Ed. Thanks so much for watching. I don't know when, but I know I'm sitting on about 11,000 gold on the other account, so hopefully we can start doing some drafts because I'm pretty trash at limited, but I figure hell, why not? But yeah, for now, catch y'all next time. Bye for now, everybody!